Tonight, the bottom line meets Waterloo. Well, not in the Napoleonic sense. We're in Waterloo, Ontario, where the high tech comes from. It's a special edition of the bottom line.
The Bottom Line with Michael Vaughan, brought to you by Elliott & Page, mutual funds that aren't just for retirement. Elliott & Page, live your whole life.
Good evening, I'm Michael Vaughan. Hey, it's the first ever Bottom Line road trip. Oh, what an event. We actually got out of the studio. We've come down to find where the technology is. We're in Waterloo, Ontario, which calls itself part of Canada's technology triangle. I mean, the place is just crawling with universities, which probably is what got the ball rolling. Now, I'm talking to you tonight from the lobby of Descartes Systems Group. If you watch for such things on the TSE, you've noticed Descartes going like this. We're going to be talking with the chairman and CEO of Descartes in a few minutes. We're trying to find out the magic. What is it about the technology triangle that spawns so many winners and so many up-and-comers? Well, we're going to start off with a few of the big fish here for you now. You know these names, I'm sure. In the first segment of the program, we have Jim Balsillie, who is co-CEO of RIM, Research in Motion. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
Welcome back to the program.
Pleasure to be here.
Your market cap's only up about $1 billion or $2 billion since we talked a couple of weeks ago. Paul Clausen sitting in the middle. Paul is Vice President of Northern Digital, another company in this hot region. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Michael.
And down there at the end is Peter Schwartz, who's Chairman and CEO of Descartes Systems Group, where we sit at the moment. Hi, Peter. It's quite a place. It's beautiful.
Thanks.
Well, Jim, you know, a lot of this stuff that we're talking about in the companies, you know, like RIM and Descartes and Northern Digital, that are really going places, started off in the university environment in this area. Is that part of the magic?
Oh, I think it's a very important part of the magic. It's very bright people in an environment where they like to live, and a culture of working hard. And I think those are the primary ingredients, and I think we're critical to the gestation of Research in Motion, and I would suggest critical to many of these other organizations also.
Paul, Northern Digital feels right at home in this area, I take it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a great community to work in, and the universities are very supportive with their co-op programs, and it's a good resource for people here.
Peter, you're hanging in. You're not going to Palo Alto in the next...
We're hanging tight.
Well, let's talk about what all of your companies do and trace it back to the origins in this area. Now, we are here in Descartes Systems Group, and Peter, it's a delivery software system. It's so when stuff goes from A to B, you know precisely where it is, when it's going to get there, because JIT, of course, these days, the just-in-time is important to everybody.
Right. I mean, we certainly, with the shift in the market over the last year or two toward internet trade, as we call it, getting the stuff there on time and in internet time, as we say, has become more and more important and more visible. So friends and family now understand what we do, and of course they didn't a few years ago.
Well, did FedEx kind of invent this stuff? Are you coming off that direction a bit?
I mean, they were certainly the catalyst for thinking about getting stuff there quickly and knowing where it is on the way. So we certainly attribute a lot of the excitement around what we do to the origins of FedEx and what they believe in, sure.
And how have you taken the next step?
Well, we'd like to think that by jumping out in front of the market and being ready with our internet-based systems well ahead of the market demand for them, you know, that was the best thing we could do. We spent the money, got the products ready, and got out there, you know, before really there was massive demand for this. So.
Well, we're sitting here in, I guess, the lobby of your beautiful building here in Waterloo. When did the company start, and how big are you at the moment?
It was founded in 1981, graduates of the University of Waterloo.
Yay.
And absolutely. And today we're just about 500 employees, 200 of them here in the Waterloo facility.
Now, your stock's gone off like a rocket in recent months. What lit the fuse?
I think we certainly had a combination of things doing it. I think the biggest factor has to do with the general recognition for our marketplace and the fact that we're a leader and a first-to-market solution in what is going to be a very, very big market for internet fulfillment, as we call it. So I think that's the big factor. And of course, we've also started to get the financial results in line with the with the expectation that the market had for us.
Mm-hmm. You got to keep them happy. Paul, Northern Digital, your neighbors here in the region with Jim and Peter. You're, I mean, it's difficult for me to even understand it, but you're in 3D digital measuring.
That's right. It's difficult to describe to people how our products are used. It's such a versatile instrument, but basically what we do is we manufacture 3D measurement and tracking systems, and it's called advanced spatial measurement. And one way to understand the technology, maybe to explain it, it has the functionality of a GPS system or a global positioning system. But rather than tracking objects anywhere around the world to, say, an accuracy of 10 to 50 meters, we install our systems in a room-sized space, and we look at a certain specific measurement area. And we can track any number of objects within that space to sub-millimeter accuracy. And so it's a very versatile tool for measurement. It's used in aerospace, it's used in medical, it's used in robotics, it's used in the entertainment industry for motion capture. One good example is a company in Santa Monica used our systems to track an actor which created the character Godzilla.
Oh, I see. Then it's synced up with the background or whatever.
Right. What we do is we track small specialized markers that are placed onto an object. We can very precisely measure their location in 3D. And for that specific example, they attach markers to a person, and that drives a computer-generated image on the screen. So they're really controlling the computer. They're an input device.
But Paul, this stuff can get really small too, can't it? I mean, are there not sort of biomedical applications for something like this?
Absolutely. Probably one of the largest growth areas for us is in the medical market. There's a segment that's rapidly growing right now called image-guided therapy, or surgery and computer-assisted therapy. What we do is when a patient goes into a hospital, they collect really the map of the body. The doctor always needs to be able to see what lies below the skin. And you go into a hospital, you get a CT or an MR scan, that goes onto a computer which goes into the operating room. And then what we do is we track the surgical instruments, the patient, any of the equipment in the room. And what that allows the surgeon to do is to see at any point where he is and where he has to go. And he can see that on a computer screen. So it's a fabulous tool to provide navigation to surgeons.
Whoa, I mean, that is important. Did this come out of the university community here as well?
It absolutely did. We were incorporated in 1981, but we were really working with microprocessor type contracts. The university came to us and wanted to track an arm movement for their kinesiology lab, and that's when we developed a system to look at markers attached to an arm, and we were able to continue on from there in the advanced spatial market business.
Well, what a community, Jim. I mean, you you are not alone. I mean, RIM is no accident. I mean, you come from this culture that you say that really seems to thrive on innovation.
Yeah, no, I think you have to look at all the different inputs when you assess it. It's definitely the roles of the University of Waterloo and Wilfrid Laurier. I think you have to look at it's an entrepreneurial and hardworking culture, which is really going back to the German and Mennonite roots. And you also look at the quality of life. And so these are core attributes that are critical for any company, and if they're strong for the technology community, they're good for us. And a fairly recent phenomenon has been the receptiveness of the capital markets to invest in technology companies and to come down to a place like Waterloo and focus on the opportunities down here. So it's a good quality of life. There's good people, and we focus on exciting growth sectors. It's a good program.
Isn't it interesting you mentioned the Mennonite roots? Boy, there's the work ethic right in front of you, isn't it?
I think it's very important to take stock of core things. I think you know, on our board is Doug Wright, and they had the temerity to found this new computer school in the late 50s with cooperative education, and they were heretics for doing that. I think you have a hard work ethic where people really, truly get out of bed and work hard every day and work cohesively, and there aren't a lot of tricky business plans. They're straight ahead, hard work and innovation. You have a university that cooperates with the organizations, and you have very high quality of life and proximity to all the resources that you need in Toronto and the airports and in the U.S. market and free trade. So I think, you know, I think that the micro things are important, and the broader systemic things are important. you know, and really at the end of the day, you live where you want to live, and you work where you can prosper. And if those two come together, you get a little bit of magic.
It's interesting. You know, Grimm is almost a granddaddy now. I mean, things happen so fast in internet time. I see you're checking your messages on your BlackBerry as we speak.
Please don't talk about me being a grandfather. My mortality scares me.
Intel has now bought those for their key people.
Yeah.
Your market cap is in the billions. Do you feel a bit of a mentoring role now in this community?
Well,
I know you're not hung up with the stock price, but
no, I
notice.
I think the most important thing you feel is responsibility. I think you feel responsibility to execute well on it. You've been given this opportunity, and you've had some early prosperity, and it's very early in the business cycle. Really, it's early in the sector, and many organizations have been given an early advantage and squandered it. Many organizations have been given an early advantage and capitalized fantastically, and so you know, it's really, you don't want to squander something. You really want to make the most of it for the people in the company, for the community, for your own desire to grow something, and I think that's the thing that weighs most heavily. And if you do a good job with that, everything else will follow. It's really leading. If you're going to lead, if you want to put it that way, it's leading by example, doing the right things, keeping the people, growing, and performing, and that's the best thing that we can do, or that I can do.
Boy, we got a lot more performers to show you from Waterloo. I could talk to you three guys all night, but there's a big cast coming through. So thanks very much to Jim Balsillie and Paul Clausen and Peter Schwartz, and thanks for the hospitality here at Descartes. Bottom Line is back. We're going to tell you about the synergy in the community that keeps incubating companies like these. Don't go away.